first off, if you guys are new here, if you guys have never watched my show before, I talk about South Asian news. I'm the Indian Hasanabi. I'm the Tamil Hasanabi. I'm talking about South Asian news. When can I watch the next stream? Next week. Next week. I stream on weekends only. Again, I stream on weekends. I would love to stream every day. Streaming doesn't pay the bills. Let's talk about what this doofus has to say. Contrary to the opinion of some scholars, the military annihilation of a terrorist group can, in fact, lead to peace. As recently as 2009, the Sri Lankan army crushed the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam. Sadly, many civilians died during the course of the military campaign. Like that, what an insane way to phrase a genocide. But in the end, Sri Lankans, both Tamils and Sinhalese, are better off without a bloodthirsty terrorist group administering territory and intimidating innocent civilians. What a normal thing to say. Yeah, it's a shame that civilians died in a ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign, but hey, Tamils are living peacefully. And so my response to that was, the Tamil Muslim-dominated Northeast have the lowest household incomes in Sri Lanka. So let's go over this graph right quick. This is the percent share of household income, share of the household income of the richest 20% based on national household income deciles. The solid line is how many households, percentage of households with household income greater than 81,000 rupees. The dotted line is number of households with household income less than 36,000 rupees. So these numbers that you see at the very top, the 71.6, 66.6, that is the percentage of household incomes in the north that are below the poverty line. By the way, Mullaitivu district, this is where this happened. These no-fire zones you see right here, this Mullaitivu district, this is this. It is the town, it is the district in Sri Lanka with the highest poverty rates. It is a Tamil-dominated, and they're genocide survivors is what that is, right? Genocide survivors. Most of them are living below the poverty line. So when people try and say that Tamils and Sinhalese are living peacefully, they are not peacefully. Peace is a meaningless term. Peace is a meaningless term because Tamils and Sinhalese are not living on equal terms. They're not living as equal members of, they are not equal members of society. They're not living as equal members of society. When people talk about Sri Lankans living in peace, they're talking about this. They're talking about the absence of tension rather than the presence of justice. Because there is no justice. There is no justice for the Tamils in the Northeast. Just last week, a 14-year-old was arrested by the cops and beaten to death in the Northeast. A Tamil 14-year-old boy was arrested and beaten to death. What justice? What reconciliation? There is no peace when the fucking military lives in the north and the east. When there's still an ongoing military occupation, there is no fucking peace. There is no fucking peace. The Tamils and the Sinhalese do not live in fucking harmony. They do not. They do not live in harmony. One side lives in fear. One side lives in a police state. One side lives under fascism. One side lives under occupation. They are not living on equal footing. Sri Lanka has the second highest military personnel to civilian ratio of any country. Sri Lanka does. Sri Lanka does. Guess what number one is? Number one is Israel. Sri Lanka also has the second highest number of forced disappearances of any fucking country. Sri Lanka does. 100,000 people. Anywhere from 40,000, 60,000 to 100,000 people in Sri Lanka. Most of them Tamils. Anywhere from 40 to 100,000 Tamils are missing in Sri Lanka. They have been forcibly disappeared by the state. You want to know what number one is? It's right after Yemen/Syria. Sri Lanka is number two. No, Sri Lanka is a
All right, give it a
perfect
taste.
tourist paradise. Ignore the war crimes. Ignore the forced disappearances. Ignore that. Ignore the forced disappearances. Ignore the war crimes. Ignore the genocide. Hold on a second. In this vlog, I'm exploring the capital of Sri Lanka, Colombo. I am joined on this trip to Sri Lanka by my sister Mallory, and together with the Sri Lanka Tourism Board, the goddamn government, I am going to show you a government-sanctioned tour of the island. The Sri Lankan government is attacking and burning down and the Sri Lankan government is destroying temples in the north, is destroying Hindu temples in the north, and trying to build Buddhist stupas on its remains. The Tamil Tigers have also done atrocious things. There's something called nuance I need you to understand. I am not here to defend the Tigers. I am here talking about the massive power imbalance. They're doing settler colonialism. The Sri Lankan government is. This is something that people don't want to address. As a Tamil Sri Lankan, my family and I are still not comfortable going back to Jaffna. Exactly. Because if you're Tamil, you are going to be harassed by the cops. This is the most perfect country in the world. Oh, look.
About its grueling past. Let's talk nature. A brutal civil war that lasted 3 decades. But the nation has quickly progressed to move forward and forget.
That's it. That's the only... Drew...
Sri Lanka gained independence, and 35 years later, they fell into a brutal civil war that lasted 3 decades.
Wait,
But
let's
they fell
count.
into
Let's
a
count
brutal
the
civil
number.
war.
Let's count the number of seconds.
Into a brutal civil war that lasted 3 decades.
1, 2, 3,
But the nation
4.
has
Okay, done.
quickly progressed to.
When he's saying burn the library, this is what he's referencing. Yes, he's referring to the burning of the Jaffna Library. This is 80 years of ongoing genocide against the Tamil people. That is why Israel just destroyed the Gaza archives yesterday too, yeah. We as a subcontinent should have our blood boiling. This is what, like, talking about this gets my blood boiling every single time. You're trying to get a bunch of people to care about a group of people that they are not naturally inclined to care about. The Tamil hate goes deep even in the South. Everyone I ever grew up thinks that Periyar was an extremist, so it was obvious, very Brahminized shit. It's all connected. They won't have empathy at all for any Tamarian other than Tam Brahms, let alone Sri Lankan Tamils. Well, Tam Brahms, with regards to the Ila Tamil issue, is a bit more split. I'll say that. But people like Subramanyam Swamy, Gayatri Raghuram, Nirmala Sitharaman, Parvati, what's her name? Oh no, Malini Parthasarathi, like former Hindu person. They're all like, well, the Tamils in Sri Lanka are terrorists. That's what these guys are like. I mean, like, to realize that Tam Brahms are also not a monolith. Yeah, they're not a monolith either. Susu does not like Ila Tamils at all. He's like, well, he's literally like, let him die. Subramanyam Swamy is literally a Rajapaksa stan. It doesn't get any worse than that. Subramanyam Swamy is a fan of Mahinda Rajapaksa. He didn't just meet with Mahinda Rajapaksa like a lot of DMK politicians did, right? He didn't just meet with them as part of a larger delegation, which is already kind of fucked up. But no, Subramanyam Swamy is a fan of Rajapaksa. He's every anti-Tamil take you can have. He is anti-Tamil.